Well, I was actually really surprised when I saw the slide that Lolan put up with my picture to realize that I'm wearing exactly the same tie this year that I wore in Japan last year when they took that picture. Now, my wife would be horrified to realize that I never changed my ties, but honestly, I didn't remember that, and I just picked the tie for this occasion. Now, I think perhaps that's a metaphor for the way that Microsoft Research itself has functioned over the last 19 years. We've had, Microsoft Research is unique in, I think, within certainly the industrial research world, in that over a very long time, now nearly 2 decades, we've had exactly the same mission statement, exactly the same way of thinking about what we're doing, and the same approach to doing it during that period of time. We've also had the same person running it that whole time, that was me. But it's always been our mission to do fundamental basic research, much in the same way that you in the university environment do basic research. Our first mission is to move the state-of-the-art forward in the areas that we do work. And that's always been true, and it is not really, there's nothing in that statement that talks about Microsoft. I mean, our goal is to move the state-of-the-art forward. And the reason that we believe that's important is because if we don't do that, then I don't think we're that valuable to the corporation. So that's why that's always been our most important mission. Now, when we have great ideas, when the ideas work, then we work very hard to move those ideas into use. And that's really the second part of our mission statement. We try to work very hard to get our ideas and our technologies into products when they work, when they make sense. Ultimately, our goal is really to ensure that not just Microsoft products have a future, but that the field of computer science continues to thrive and continues to be an important part of our economy. Now, over the years, the organization has grown fairly dramatically. Today, we have over 850 PhD researchers around the world working in the United States, in our Redmond facility, in Mountain View, in our new Microsoft New England lab in the Boston area. We also have groups in Cambridge, England, in Beijing, which is actually, Beijing is our second largest basic research group, and Bangalore. And then we also have a number of sort of joint research activities with other organizations around the world. We have a joint research lab in Paris with INRIA. We work closely with the University of Barcelona, the Barcelona Supercomputer Center. We work closely with the University of Trento in the Systems and Computational Biology Center there. So we're very much participating in this global environment. We're organized historically like a university. In fact, those of you who've heard me speak before know that we're organized a lot like Carnegie Mellon University was organized back in the mid-1980s when I was a professor there. So we're very flat. Well, I mean, obviously we're large, so we can't be completely flat, but we're a relatively flat organization. We believe in critical mass research groups. We don't want to have just 1 or 2 researchers in any given area. We want to make sure we have enough people in each area to really be able to push the state of the art. We believe in aggressively publishing our work, and that's an important part of how we believe we stay at the state of the art. We believe it's important to subject our research and our researchers to the peer review process and to compete intellectually with the top people around the world in the academic community. And for us, that's both the way that we make sure that we are working at the state of the art and that our researchers are working at the state of the art, but it's also the way that we help move the state of the art forward, working with our colleagues in the academic community. As Lolan mentioned, we've always had our interactions with university research organizations as a critical component of what we do and how we think about what we do. So if you look back over the last 19 years since Microsoft Research was started, over 15% of all the money Microsoft has spent on basic research has in fact gone to universities and university research organizations. And that's been in the form of things like fellowships and research grants, laboratory grants, faculty fellowships, things of that nature. Really, for us, it's important that we do that because we feel that it's important that the field is healthy in order for us to be healthy. And Lola mentioned our emphasis on visitors and interns. Again, this is both one of the ways that we make sure that our research continues to be fresh and continues to operate at the state of the art, but it is also a way that we work with you and we communicate with people in the university environments, because if people are constantly moving in and out of Microsoft Research, then they get to know each other and they get to be able to interact, and we maintain those interactions over a long period of time. Now I mentioned that our number one mission is moving the state of the art forward. Now obviously you don't really measure that in publications per se, but it's important to realize that today Microsoft Research is one of the major publishers of basic research in the field. And in fact, in many of the top conferences, we are the dominant publisher of basic research. We also work closely with professional societies such as the ACM and the IEEE. We take very seriously the fact that we participate and are involved in the journal process, in the peer review process at national research agencies and things of that sort. We have a great team. Some of them will be talking today. Certainly one of the more celebrated teams in the field of computer science. And again, I think that's been a testament. The fact that we've been able to assemble this group is a testament to the approach that we've taken, which is to put basic research first and foremost in our mission. I mentioned that we drive technologies into our product. And there, it's, again, I mentioned our mission statement is first to move the state of the art forward, but then we need to have an impact. We need to be able to make the world better, to change the world in a significant way. And so when we have ideas, we work closely with our product teams to move those ideas out. And people often will ask me, well, how do you do that? I mean, what is technology transfer at Microsoft? And really, what I say typically is that it's a full contact sport. I mean, almost anything you could imagine doing, we do. We hold special events with our product teams, things we call mind swaps. We have researchers that work directly within product teams. We have people from product teams that work directly with us. We try hard to find a way to get ideas from one person to another within the company. And we don't ever think that there's only one way to do that. We're always looking for new ways to make that happen. We have a special team of people, we call program managers, whose full-time job is, in fact, to do technology transfer. And they work with the product teams, they work with the research teams, they find opportunities, and they bring teams together. I think that's been an important part of the success that we've had over the years. Now, anytime you list, technologies that have been transferred into our products, you wind up with some big lists, and it's hard to really understand. I think the key thing to realize is that without Microsoft Research, without the investment in long-term basic research that we began to make 19 years ago, the company that you see today in Microsoft wouldn't be here. I mean, just look at what Microsoft has done over the last 10 years. As a company, we've added more than $30 billion in revenue over the last 10 years. We've added 7 new billion-dollar products during that period of time. We've entered entirely new markets, such as the game console business that we're in with the Xbox. We've changed the way that Microsoft does its business and the nature of our businesses. These are things that without the investments that we've made in basic research, we really wouldn't have been able to do as a company. And I think that's, in some sense, the way to think about technology transfer. Now, when people think about basic research, especially when you talk to reporters or you talk to people that are outside of our field, there's often a misunderstanding about what basic research is and what it does and the role that basic research plays, whether it's in our society or whether it's in a company like Microsoft. A lot of times people look at the output that they see from basic research. And they say, oh, I understand. There's technologies that come out of basic research. So maybe when we think about basic research, we should say you're creating all these, this intellectual property. We're creating all of these technologies. And that's the output of basic research. And that's why we should be doing basic research. So people will look at it that way. Other people will say, hey, I know why you should have a basic research organization. It's to solve problems. I mean, everybody has problems. You get a lot of smart people together. They can solve problems for you. And certainly, a basic research organization does create intellectual property. We do have great people that are good at solving problems. So those things are true. Sometimes people will also say, well, I know it's just to be an early warning system. It's to tell the society or to tell the corporation that there's some new thing coming out or there's some change and we need to be able to have that early warning system. And that's true too. I mean, as a research organization, we often see technologies coming down the line, and it's important that we communicate, the changes that we see, to the businesses and to the political leaders so that they can try to make the adjustments necessary to survive those changes. But I would argue that ultimately, the reason to do basic research isn't really any of these things per se, right? It's not just the notion that we create intellectual property. It's not just the notion that we solve problems. It's not just being an early warning system. It's something much more than that, much more compelling, and that is survival. And I think the reason that societies and the reason that corporations need to invest in long-term basic research is to survive. If you go back to the writings of Vannevar Bush, who is one of the people who was very influential in the creation of the National Science Foundation in the United States in the late 1940s and early 1950s, I mean, he makes that point very strongly. He was looking at it from a societal perspective, but what he was saying was that, if there's a new war, remember the country was just coming out of a war, if there's a disease, if there's a famine, we need to make investments in basic research and in the people that do that work so that we can change rapidly when change is required. For a company, that means if we have a new competitor, or there's a new technology, or there's a new business model, the company needs to change rapidly. We need to adjust. And the ones that do survive, and the ones that don't disappear. And in our field, most of the companies that were around when Microsoft Research was started back in 1991 aren't around anymore. Most of the companies that were like Microsoft in those days have disappeared, or they've changed in unrecognizable ways. And I think it's a statement about Microsoft and the foresight to create a basic research group that we decided 19 years ago to make those investments. And because of those investments, at critical points in the company's history, we've been able to change or adapt or solve critical problems that were important to the corporation's growth. And it isn't just because we're doing things that the company believes in, it's because we're doing things that move the state-of-the-art forward. In fact, so many times in the history of Microsoft Research, we were not, in fact, we were doing research that no one in the company besides us really believed in. Right? We attacked areas, we solved problems, we looked at technologies that at the time they were done, there was no business that the company had, there was no problem that we were trying to solve that was associated with that. And yet, at critical points in our past, we've brought technology to bear that changed the future of the company. And I think that's why you invest in basic research, so that when change is needed, when change is required for survival, you're able to do that. As I said, I think there's a classic mistake that people make when they think about basic research, and they think that these things are the output of a basic research group. That technology transfer is what you're trying to get from a basic research, that's its output, or problem solving, or early warning, or whatever it is. And those are not the output of a basic research organization. Those are really, in some sense, the byproducts of well-done basic research. The output of basic research is research. The output of a research organization are the ideas and the technologies that move the state-of-the-art forward. That's what Microsoft Research has been doing now for 19 years. And hopefully that's what we'll continue to do for the next 19 years or 20 years or however long we're around. Because I think that's the critical value that we bring. And frankly, it's the value that you in the university environments bring to the broader society that we're in. Thank you very much.
So I'd like to welcome everyone again to Shanghai, to Asia for the Faculty Summit 2010. Thanks, Rick, for the update on Microsoft Research. So I will use the next 15 minutes to give you a quick update of what's happening in the lab here at MSR Asia in the last 2 years. So we the part of the MSR, Microsoft Research, so we carry out this mission which Rick just said, and on the advance the state of the art and also technology transfer. Here just some number to show you what we have done in the last 12 years. And specifically, last 2 years, we contribute to the Microsoft Research on those academic performers. And I think particularly, we actually got a few base paper. And so not just about of course, we measure ourselves only to a top conference. And then when you get the base paper award from this top conference and journal, really you really have verified we really can do some base of the best research. And I think almost a lot of those research paper, academic achievement, we cannot done without the partnership with you. And most of these papers we done with our intern and professor, our partnership in the Asia Pacific academic field. And I have a very strong team. And of course, you know Lowland's the University Relations External Research team. And I have 3 deputies, and each one helped me to manage a critical area in the computer science fields. And Bilingual, who is one of my deputies who helped me to manage the multimedia activities. And Wei Ma helped me to manage all the search, data mining activities. And Feng helped me. I'm very glad he joined us last year, so almost 2 years, helped me to manage all the system and networking area. And I think all of them, we are actually actively participate in the faculty summit event, heading some section, and I think look forward to have a great discussion with you on all those respected areas. Microsoft's vision for the future, I think now is pretty sure in the whole industry. we call 3 screens plus a cloud. Basically, 3 screen is really a metaphor, right? We talk about PC screen, mobile, smartphone screen, and also the TV screen. But it really represent your working environment, and then also your 24/7 mobile device, the personal device with you, and also entertainment experience at home. It's actually cover more than, if you count, it's actually many screens, but really it's your work, your life, and also your everything. I mean, 24/7. And I think it's very obvious today. It's about client and the cloud. You really need both. I think the device, we are going to have more smart devices, and then has a cloud service which give you the pervasive the advantage and the service from the cloud. And you will hear a lot of technology from Microsoft research in the next 2 days. And here I just use some short time to demonstrate a couple technology we are doing in the Asia lab, and start with Xbox Connect. And we actually about to launch officially very soon as we speak in US and a few countries, and very soon this experience will actually carry over to all over the world. It's the first time we really provide the console-free user experience on all the gaming. And this is really, we start in the gaming entertainment field, but very soon you can expect, I think some of those we call nature user interface experience we actually carry over to other screen, other experience too. And let me show you the video of this real game actually being played in real world.
Xbox, pause. Xbox play.
Motion tracking, and so you can actually play the game with your nature gesture without a joystick or controller. And you can see a lot of this game showing the game title we are about to actually release formally. This video actually is a demonstration session in the E3 down in the June. And a lot of this game, you see the kids playing with tiger and using nature gesture and to cop the tiger, and the tiger will react. And also some dancing, also some aerobic or even Tai Chi type of game. It's really so natural to really do it without carrying some artificial devices. And there's a lot of technology, and I think particularly in the New E section tomorrow, you will hear some in-depth the technology presentation, and hope to have a good discussion with all of you. I'm sure some of you actually working on those areas for many, many years. It's really so refreshing to see those technology become reality, and actually in a consumer gaming which is one of the most challenging area because the customer really expect a very robust and real-time performance for those cutting-edge technology. And I think by working with the Microsoft product group together, we are so glad we can contribute and to have to see those stuff become reality. And I think just like I said, as we are speaking, those devices is about to anyone can actually just go to the store to buy those devices and then they play those games. And Laura mentioned the e-heritage project we are doing with the partner around the Asia Pacific region. We are very, very excited. I think this is one of the rare opportunity for us to working on the computer science, software, IT to contribute to the humanity and to help to preserve also helpful distance and the high resolution multimedia presentation of those the very treasured cultural heritage or natural heritage sites. And we actually also have specific workshop, and many of you actually are with us for those workshops. And again, the core technology will be discussed throughout the faculty summit today and tomorrow. And I want to show you one particular one we done recently. We actually have the gigapixel camera, which is single shot can actually take the more than 1 gigapixel of whatever image we take. And in the Dunhuang, some of you have been Dunhuang, the cave is very difficult. One of the things, even though they're trying to take a high resolution digital archive of more than thousands cave in Dunhuang, those very remote area, but because of lighting and also the cave is not really a flat wall of the painting. It's really very tedious, and then traditional way you take a multiple shot and doing stitching together. And I want to show you some of the things we took a couple months ago, and we are going to do more for all the caves. And this is the first time we actually can take a simple shot of the image and with a resolution never been done before, and allow you to do not more than archive, also for the future multimedia presentation. So let me show you a quick video. Okay, play. So this is show you a traditional way. You need to take a multiple shot and at a different position. Now you can take a single shot to cover a much bigger ground, and this is the real camera in work. And this is one particular in the 46K. And with one position, we still take multiple shots, but this time we take 5 different shots to focus on different portion of that particular location. And the one you just see, the cave which is convex, you actually can take the shot, you actually can see, now you can zoom in any portion of this single shot. In the past, particularly the one you have the Buddha statue in front of a wall painting, for you to actually get the high resolution shot, for that particular angle, you actually need to do a lot of manual work. But now, as you can see, we just take a single position shot, and we can actually view in those resolutions which never been done before on different region. And this is just wandering around some of this particular shot, and then we can actually do more. Now you can see we can go into this particular Buddha's sleeve and also the hands. And I think we also, by doing this resolution, we can verify the cave actually has been actually kept quite neatly. We don't see any inserts in there, and no any ants or whatever other inserts there. So, and we are going to do more, and hopefully we have more to show you in the future. So we are in Asia, in Beijing, in China for the last 12 years, and when we first come here, we come here for talent. Also, the majority, the Asia's traditionally has been focused on education, and particularly in science, and particularly focused on science and engineering. And we are very glad 12 years past, still the truth. We still a lot of smart kids want to actually get into science and engineering, and we could do more to promote computer science and science and engineering as a whole. And also today, because the emerging of the different regions in Asia, I think now Asia become biggest market for a lot of even this cutting edge technology like the computer industry and the internet. And we really, it's the first time in the history, we really have opportunity, while we are innovating for Asia, we also have an opportunity to innovate for the whole world at the same time. And really in my last slide, the success of Microsoft Research Asia in the last 12 years, we cannot have done without the partnership with our academic partners. And I really want to be here to thank our old partner for your support and the partnership, and we'll continue, look forward to continue working with you. And for the new partner, I'm sure we have some new friends here, and we certainly we are looking forward to exploring the new collaboration and partnership opportunities with you. So that's all for the update of Microsoft Research, and thank you all, and please enjoy the conference. Thanks.